Hey, everybody, welcome to day 178 of Reseller Reflections, a day in the life of a full-time reseller supporting her family. Today, I'm going to talk about the masks we wear. But first, we met our sales goal again today. So that'll be 3 days running. That's exciting. Very good. And Molly and I were having a little chat a little bit ago about, the whole reselling and, what it's like this Q4 compared to other Q4s. Yeah, we're doing about the same as we have in previous fourth quarters. However, I have to say we're working more than doubly as hard, putting up way more items. So yeah, even though like our sales are still on par and I don't really have anything to complain about there. Yes, we are putting in a lot more work to get there than we have in previous years. That's just where it's at right now. But yeah, so I didn't want to give anybody the illusion, that when we do meet our sales goal, that it's just, happening. We're putting this in. No, there's a reason. I think the trend is definitely slower sales and, more low dollar value items. But all right. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments where you guys kind of are with that. If you're putting in more work, if you're seeing slower sales, what your thoughts are on that in general. That's kind of the consensus. But I am I'm just going to do the shipping when I'm done here. I think I have a couple more things to ship out. I've already shipped twice today, but I might go in for a third. Why not? Right? Because I love shipping now. It's so fun to get all the packages ready and put on my music and kind of dance around and just be in the zone. So yes, and I'm so thankful for every package that is going out. All right. I'm just feeling like super serious today for some reason. I don't know, like my head, like I'm all in my head today. It's just, I don't know. It's been like a serious kind of day for me. Not an unpleasant day, but I don't know. I'm just feeling like a little more serious than normal. All right. So I am reset to zero. I just packed up all the jewelry I listed, put it away in inventory. Didn't want to, but did it anyway because these guys are holding me accountable. Jill of Rusted Truck Relics, Jason the Santee Swapper, Char Fabulous Flamingos, Kathy Singz, Nick Mr. C Chats, Vanessa the Diabetic Reseller, Brightest Holidays, Judith R, Pam of Whimsy and Such, Carmen of Northern Bargains, Becky of Becky Consigns, and Lee of Lee Phillips 4191. All right, guys. Awesome. Thank you. Because I'm holding you accountable, but you know what? You're holding me accountable. So I'm not going to get on here, call out your names and not do the work myself. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So the masks we wear. This is there's so many things about this. And 2024 has been a year of just absolute it's just been such a blessing for me to come to have time to really think about things and where I'm going and get in a good headspace, coming from a not so good headspace and just really putting a lot of work in and being able to talk to you. I look forward to this every day now. And it's really forced me, thank you, Diane Lassand, to just really take a deeper look into things and, why we do what we do, how we can use that knowledge to better ourselves in the reselling space. So the masks we wear. And, social media sometimes has a lot to do with this because I'm going to tell you a little story, just a brief little story about the summer I moved, which wasn't this past summer. It was the summer before. I have to say it was the absolute lowest, worst time of my entire life. It was devastating. It was so intense on so many levels. It physically, the move itself, moving the business, moving myself, becoming an empty nester all happened at the same time, just like heartbreak. It was just a whole whirlwind of just stuff. And it was devastating. It was absolutely the hardest time thus far that I've been through in my life. And I was in a really, really bad place. So anyway, I was updating on my social media, like the house as it was coming along because it was under construction and there was just oh yeah. So on top of the move and the move of the business, I was moving into an unfinished house that was under construction, sleeping on an air mattress in my basement. Yeah. So there was just a lot. And then mentally just not being in a very good headspace, not even knowing where to go, what to deal with. All right. So whatever. That's fine. That's over. I'm glad I went through it. It was absolutely the right thing and it taught me so much. But that's not my point of the whole story. The point was I was in the lowest point of my life. It was really tough, really bad. But in the meantime, I'm posting on social media like updates to the construction of the house and, the move and all of this. And I had a friend who I hadn't talked to in a while, but she had been seeing my posts on social media and she wasn't in a great place. I didn't know, right? Like we hadn't talked really during this whole thing. We just, would see each other's stuff on social media. And, so after it was all over, a couple months later, we're on the phone, we're chatting, we're catching up. And she goes, wow, everything's just going so great for you. I just really, I'm just like really impressed. I didn't want to bother you and bring you down with with my stuff. So I haven't really been in touch. And, I just see how happy you are and how, everything looks great. And I thought, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, that is not what is happening here. That is not the reality of it. Like that is what they talk about social media being a highlight reel. I didn't even realize I wasn't even consciously doing it. Like I was just doing it to update, to update people. I wasn't trying to project a highlight reel. Like I wasn't trying to present myself in any other way other than what was happening. And that was what it seemed like, right? Like everything's great, everything's rosy. And, so we all know that we don't know what is actually going on in somebody's life based on their social media. But I was a little floored being on that side of it where, like people think, everything is great. My life is rosy, the, new house, all of that stuff. And it looked awesome to her. Meanwhile, I'm sleeping in the basement on an air mattress at the lowest point of my life and just feeling terrible. And things were not okay. Things were not good. But the what it looked like to the outside world was the things that were great. And that wasn't even my intention. So imagine like you are seeing people's stuff that it is their intention to, present their best selves and all of that. And anyway, so we have to be super, super careful about that. So I come on here, the masks we wear as women, makeup. A lot of times I come on here like no makeup, sometimes in my pajamas. Like it's real. Like I just want to keep it real. And, that's kind of what authentic is to me. But there are a lot of masks, the more I thought about this, that we all wear. And some of them I don't even think I realized that I was wearing, maybe as some of you also. And, having gone to school, gone to, graduate school, had a career, got married, had kids, like did everything in the exact order I was supposed to, everything. There were a lot of masks involved in there, a lot of figuring stuff out, a lot of not being myself. And still at the age of 50, I'm still finding, all right, there are definitely masks that I've worn my whole life. So when we talk a lot about being authentic and being who we are, so much of it is just so ingrained. And in the business world, the reason I'm mentioning like all of that is because like in the business world, right, we're taught fake it till you make it. Never let them see you sweat. It's not a very it's a very competitive, like the industry I was in, I was in the tech industry for a while and it was competitive. It was competitive. You didn't let them see you sweat. You never showed any insecurity. And that was how you were trained. And that is how you became successful and did a good job. And, it was a mask. It was an absolute mask. And I think that's one of the reasons I love reselling and owning my own business so much. And maybe you do as well, is that reselling is one of those rare jobs where you don't have to wear a mask, right? Like, I'm coming on here and I'm being as authentic about, my business, what the struggles are, as I can at this point, even personally. And I'm a child of the 80s, right? Like, toughen up. You don't talk about your emotions. You definitely don't talk about private things. You just like grit your teeth and you just get through it and, suck it up, buttercup kind of thing. That's me. That's me. So that was also a mask I wear. Never, so it was like the never let them see you sweat, fake it till you make it, present a successful image. All of those things are just so ingrained in my being that reselling is definitely a space. I mean, when I'm looking forward to going to the Boss Reseller Remix, because, when you're around other people that are embracing this, like, you can run your business, especially online businesses, right? Because you're not, in a storefront. You're able to do your own thing. You're able to be yourself. You're able to be, creative in ways that you wouldn't be otherwise. It's a pretty cool feeling. And one of the things that really like opened this up for me was we were doing the pumpkin plan. We were reading the book by Mike Michalowicz, and there's this part in the pumpkin plan. I'll link up the video we did on it, but it's all about immutable laws. It's a business book, but there's a section on immutable laws. And it never occurred to me, because it was always like personal and business were totally separate, right? Like, you had two lives, right? Like, I went to work, I did my thing, I came home, I was a totally separate person, just very, very, separate. Two separate things, and they never mixed. Maybe unless my husband went to like a work thing with me occasionally. Yeah, and they never mixed. And so we're reading the book and the immutable laws, and, an immutable law is like what you hold the highest, right? Like, what is the most important to you? And for me, it was definitely like trust, honesty. There's a list of a couple things, right? So it's whatever is important to you personally. And then he talks about, Mike Michalowicz in the Pumpkin Plan talks about, that's the same in business. Your immutable laws as an entrepreneur, even as a reseller, should match up with your business. Because if you're doing business with somebody that doesn't match your immutable laws, you're destined for, failure. And there was like, all of a sudden, there was this like light bulb that went off, and like that, those two worlds kind of collided, the business world and the personal world. And I thought, oh my gosh, like, I am who I am in my business and in my personal life. And they do belong together. And that was just like one kind of mask that was like, I don't have to, be the strongest. I don't have to pretend that, there are no problems, there are no hurdles, and just, present the facade that's, always made up and perfect, and that everything is going great in order to be successful. And I just need to, portray the things that are important to me, like, trust and honesty, and bring those into my business. So that was one. I know it's not really a mask, but for me, it was. And I was like, it was just one of the most eye-opening things that finally brought, together, two parts of my life that had been always, and I'd been taught, and it had been ingrained in me to be separate. Like, you be the business person, and then you be, your home family person. And really, they should be the same. Should be the same person based on those immutable laws. So I just love that. I thought that was really awesome. Another mask. I'd love to hear about some of the masks you wear. I've always had a lot of friends, and diverse, very diverse friends. Different in different walks of life, and if I had a party, this was like a recurring theme. Like nobody knew each other. Like they're like, how do you even like? Because my friends are, just were always so different from all. Because I am a chameleon, and I can pretty much get along in any space and fit in. Yeah, so that's a lot of masks to be wearing and making yourself fit in. It's not that for me is not a good thing. I have definitely just embraced when I have a very obsessive personality. I get obsessed with things, like the reseller reflections, right? Um, and do them obsessively. And that was always something that I hid or was embarrassed of, or like maybe ashamed of, that I would just go all in on things. And I don't think that that's anything. Like that was another mask I was wearing, like hiding that, or just not doing things maybe as obsessively as I wanted to, or just being hesitant about them, or making excuses for doing them. That was one. Book club. I love business books. I love self-help books. I just and you know what I said, Jason and I joke because he's my book club companion, and that I would do it even if it was just me, or if it was just him and I. Like, I'm still going to continue to do it because I feel strongly about it, and I like it, and it is just something that really is like, it is who I am, and it is something I enjoy. Well, I don't like going out to bars and partying and doing things like that, but I do enjoy a good business or self-help book. And it's just been an interesting journey to not be apologizing, and just being me. All right. So guys, hopefully I will continue to be more authentic as we continue reseller reflections. I hope you all have an awesome night, and I hope you do give a little thought. I know yesterday I gave homework for you guys to really think about blame, and something you blame on someone else. But that might just have to wait, because I really wanted to talk about the masks we wear tonight. And hopefully you got a little something out of it. Hopefully you're going to think about, is there a mask you are wearing? Because some of them, I'm sure there's more I wear that I'm not even aware of, but I'm going to be thinking about it. So I'd be curious to know your thoughts on it as well. All right, everybody, have an awesome night. I will see you on day 179 of Reseller Reflections. Night, night.